Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of our podcast. And today we have joined by Avanish Agarwal, sir, the founder of Nutriiya, India's first AI powered nutrition coach designed specifically for Indian food and culture. And with a strong background in strategy and marketing, Avnish sir has led major growth initiatives at brands like Smash and Nisa Experiences LLP. Now he's using that experience to revolutionize how India understands nutrition through AI and personalization and cultural insight. So excited to dive into this journey and the vision behind it. And one of the most intriguing questions that your followers and the ones who Nutria has inspired ask is that Nutria is positioned as India's first AI-powered nutrition coach for Indian cuisine. What gap
Correct.
did you see in the market that pushed you to build this?
So, absolutely, the gap was simple actually, but very massive. And the problem statement that we started with, that India never had a nutrition platform that truly understood the Indian food, right? If you
Hmm.
talk about all the nutrition platforms that are currently out there in the market, without naming a few, I will say, the top players, they do not understand, or they are not catered or made thinking the Indian market, right?
Hmm.
Because our food is very diverse. जो खाना हम घर पे खाते हैं versus the food that we eat outside, everything is very, you can say, the horizon is very big, right?
Hmm.
And most apps in the market were built for Western diets, right? And for example, simple, like, calories for salads, smoothies, sandwiches. But what do you do when the plate has idli, dal chawal, sambar, chutney, sabzi, biryani, pulao, pav bhaji,
Hmm.
right? So we realize that 80% of the Indian consumers and Indians misunderstand or misjudge the daily calorie intake, right? As per the FDA or any nutrition board, every country has a nutrition board. The daily calorie intake is about 2,500 to 2,400 calories per day a human being should consume. Out of that, the breakup is given as per the FDA, food regulatory authorities, that certain amount of percentage goes to protein, carbs, carbohydrates, and fats. Right now,
Hmm.
uh, home cooked food is like the backbone of our diet, but nobody knew how to track it accurately. Right, accuracy is a very important aspect. If anyone wants to be sort of healthy, and anyone wants to watch what we are eating, then the first things that particular individual or anyone would do is sit down and track all the macros, all the food that you're eating, and understand where we stand, where we are actually, right?
Hmm.
And most people relied on manual entry. Like, for example, when I started my fitness journey, that time, I used to track my meals on Excel sheet, Google Excel sheet. And I made a template version of something that works for me. And I just used to do a check box that, okay, मैंने आज सुबह breakfast में इतना calories खाया, check.
Hmm.
The thing that I eat for lunch
Hmm.
have about so many calories, check. But then this is a very time consuming process. You need to make an Excel sheet, you need to keep updating it, export the data, understand weekly basis, and then do things as per the way you want, right? But and also most apps require manual entry. And as of today also, there are apps which tracks meals by clicking a picture, but
Hmm.
then most of them still requires a manual intervention. Like, it's not as easy as take a phone out of your pocket, click a picture, and your meal is logged. So that is where we come in. We thought, why don't we make something which makes it as easy as 2 second process? You take out the phone from your pocket, click a picture of your meal, and then you're done. That's it. Your meal is tracked. So Nutria was born out of this frustration that all the 3 points that I mentioned earlier. That, and then we sat down and we thought that can we build an AI that recognizes Indian food instantly and tells you what's good and what's not good and what to do next in the same moment you're about to eat it, right? Because people don't spend tend to spend time on their health and nutrition aspect. When it comes to gym, of course, people go do workouts. But when it comes to eating healthy, They start,
Hmm.
but then they deviate from the path because the tracking is very difficult. The tracking part is extremely difficult for anyone who's on a health journey, and that is the problem that we want to solve.
Yes. Yes, sir. As you mentioned, that the AI is trained on over millions of food images and nutritional profiles. What were the challenges of building an AI system deeply tailored to Indian cooking and cultural diversity?
So our Indian food is beautiful, but it's chaotic at the same time, right?
Hmm.
If you take one, for example, Western diet, Western dish, as Indian dish has Western diets don't have so many ingredients, but in our Indian culture there are 18 types of different masalas that combines into one garam masala, right?
Hmm.
And everyone's making of that garam masala is different. So unlike Western diets, we have multiple ingredients, variation across all the states, different cooking patterns, a lot of homemade tweaks that we do, and then thousand different preparation types. For example, a dal that you cook at your home versus the dal that I cook at my home are two different things because although we use almost same ingredients, but then still it sort of the preparation कितना आप शायद घी यूज करते होंगे मैं शायद edible oil यूज करूंगा so then these things also matters a lot and training AI on this diversity was tough because one like I said one dal is not one dal, it's a multiple thing, right? Like for
Yes.
example, Gujarati dal is sweet, North Indian dal is completely different, South Indian dal is little thinner, Bengali dal uses mustard nutritionally, and they're not same, right? So that is the challenge that we faced initially, and the challenges that we solved actually were sort of a mixed bag of a lot of things. But if I have to concisely put it in, let's say, 5 points, then those the challenges that we try to address was visual complexity, same
Hmm.
dish but different look, then
Hmm.
mixed plates, thali format, 7 to 8 items. In one thali, there are 7 to 8 different items which AI can now recognize. If you click picture with Nutriiya, it's now able to sort of differentiate between various portions and also give you a measurement that is understandable to you. For example, it will not give you measurement in grammage. It will give you a measurement if you have a katori in your thali, then it will tell you that one katori equals to about 100 and 150 grams. So it will give you a measurement in that way, that sense. And the breakdown of the measurement is also there, that one katori equals to 150 or 100 grams, depending on what katori you're using, right? Then the food versus homemade food with no standard references. If you check the homemade meal pictures on Google, there will be tons and tons and thousands of pictures that will come. But what is the standard measurement? There is no standard measurement, right? So we try to address that problem. Then we also solve the problem of regional language by supporting 10 to 13 different regional languages that one can use app in. So nutrition is accessible to each and every person and also each and every language, right? And the overall lack of structured Indian nutritional database is something that we realize that it's there. If you check, like for example, how USDA has a separate database of food, we do not have one controlled database of food because of the diversity, and it's a problem that we're trying to solve. We do not have Indian BMI or BMR, body mass index or body mass ratio. We always source it or reference it to US or European citizens. So a 5 foot 4 inches guy can be at the weighing about 75 kgs, can be obese over here in India, but in Europe it cannot be. So there is no standard measurement. So we're trying to standardize that, and
Hmm.
we had to build 70% of the data set from scratch. Consult food scientists, food nutritionists, and home chefs, and create a culturally aware AI. So the AI layer basically solves and talks in a way that we all understand. As of now, till now, there is a gap that is a rather major gap, which has been not filled in terms of can AI solve this problem, right? Particularly nutrition. So we are trying to solve that problem, and we are about 90% there. And with time, I think we will be able to go to 95% as well.
That's amazing, Avnish sir. And as you truly mentioned, India's regional variety in food is really immense and vast. So that brings me to this amazing question, that how does your Nutria ensures personalization? Because then it now has to respect cultural habits, since we all come
Of
from
course.
different, diverse culture, and we all have our own food patterns. We like other tastes and etc. And while doing so, how it still guides users towards healthier choices.
So, so the philosophy pillar now, the cultural aspect and also personalization. Cultural aspect is one philosophy pillar, and the second, personal choices is the second philosophy pillar. I would like to call it. And while we were sort of embarking the foundation of Nutria, we decided that we will not judge culturally. We will not judge the culture. We will
Hmm.
optimize within it. So what
Hmm.
it means essentially is if someone eats rotis daily, we
Hmm.
won't say switch to quinoa,
Okay.
right? It will never tell you to switch to something healthier, which is expensive, or it will never tell you the AI will or app will never tell you that you should replace this particular item with that item, right?
Okay.
If someone is from South, we won't tell them to stop eating rice because rice is a
Hmm.
very big staple meal in South, right?
True.
Uh, North side, may if you go, we will not say that you stop eating onions with every meal,
Hmm.
right? I have observed, I've spent a lot of time over there while I was working with Smash, and sirka onion is something that everyone eats, right? So
True.
we will not say anyone to stop eating something which they're already eating, but we
Hmm.
personalize. So how do we personalize? So we have a three-layer system. First is your cultural identity. What you grew up eating stays and remains with you, right? Then the lifestyle. What are your working hours when you're logging the meal? What is the time that we take into consideration? Your fitness routine, because everything is tracked. Your phone has a capacity, has a gyroscope now. Every phone has one, which tracks your steps. So daily step count is something that is there. If you have an additional layer, if you wear a smartwatch or a smart ring, then your heartbeats are measured throughout the day, right? That data is also getting synced with the app. Of course, you allow with the permissions and everything.
Hmm.
And what are your habits? Basically, that we track that. And then the health goals. At the time of onboarding, app asks you what major goals that you want to achieve by downloading this app. For example, fat loss, maintain the energy, muscle retention, metabolism improvement, or improve protein intake, or overall health and wellness to maintain that. So a Maharashtrian user and a Punjabi user can both lose weight and all without giving up their favorite food or their identity itself, because we're not saying that replace any ingredient with something else. We're not trying to sell food. We are not trying to say anything that will sort of change the way a person eats, but we're trying to optimize it, and this can be done via portion control. So when you log in and sign up, at that point of time, your daily calorie intake is something that is decided depending on the goal that you choose. And at that point of time, you get an assigned allocation. Let's say in a simple terms, आपको एक daily खर्चा मिलता है. For example, that this much amount of money that you can spend in calories, this much amount of calories that you can eat. Now, whenever you start tracking the meals, you will have a clear understanding of where you are standing with each and every meal. We may come to macronutrients or micronutrients. This is something that we are trying to build. So there is no guilt, no fat diets, just better choices inside your culture and your identity that makes it personalized towards that particular user.
Okay. Like you said, that Nutria doesn't like specifically tells you to switch to another food item or something. I and many of us might have seen that many nutrition apps fail just because they, couldn't integrate themselves into our daily lives. So,
Correct.
how is Nutria designed then, specifically for Indian families and working professionals, then fitness enthusiasts?
So look at the way how Indians live. Okay, uh, any so now I'm talking in general how we live. Okay,
Yeah.
may it be tier one city, tier two city, or tier three city. Some of the things that I will tell you are applicable to each and every aspect. Right. So as Indians, we eat fast. Right. We eat very quick. We don't
Yeah.
chew our food that long. We हमें खाना बहुत जल्दी खाने की आदत है. अभी जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल इफ यू आर वर्किंग, you will quickly eat your lunch and get back to work again.
Yeah.
Then we eat on the go. Many times it has happened that when you're traveling, you're eating. आप कभी गाड़ी में बैठे हो या फिर आप कभी ट्रेन से सफर कर रहे हो या फिर if you're in flight, we will eat on the go, right? We also eat with family and we don't measure our portions. माँ का प्यार थोड़ा कभी कभी ज्यादा हो जाता है when she serves the food. Or if you like something, you will end up eating more, right? You
Yeah.
will not think अरे मैं ये इतना खाना खा लूंगा तो मेरे को इससे इतना नुकसान हो सकता है. Barring नुकसान part or keeping that aside, but we generally don't measure our food, right?
Yeah.
And we love variety. Indians, as are one of the biggest foodies in the world, we actually love our food and we love variety, and we multitask constantly. Many times we eat while eating. We are on a call. We are doing some other work. आप अपने अपने पेरेंट्स का एग्जांपल ले लो. कभी कभी आई हैव सीन पेरेंट्स cooking and eating on the go while cooking for someone else, right? So the app had to be frictionless. Now, what are the design choices that we made to make it frictionless so that it integrates within our culture, within our daily habits, is basically uh, key design choices while we made the app were very simple. एक first is AI camera, click, get macros, done. Takes up about 2 seconds. Then voice logging is something that we're trying to integrate so that suppose if you're on the go and you dictate that okay, I am having one paratha with dahi, then it will log your meal. Something that feature is sort of coming in the later stages in the by the end of December. Then thali recognition for mixed plates. We have a large variety of food. Whenever we eat food, we don't eat only just one meal. There are 5 to 6 different things that are there. Achar hoga, chutney hogi, roti hogi, sabzi hogi, dahi hoga, sarka onion hoga, thoda salad hoga. तो ये सारी चीजें the app should detect, right? Then protein nudges for fitness users. Since you are aware that, and I think every FMCG company now is trying to sort of integrate protein within their choices, within their meals. आप मैकडोनल्ड्स में जाओगे तो अभी आपको देखने मिलेगा कि मैकडोनल्ड्स भी प्रोटीन का बर्गर देने लग गया है. Although that protein quantity is very less, but it's still everyone is trying to integrate protein. So we also thought that protein nudges is something that we will give so that how much amount of protein you are consuming. And
Yeah.
quick swaps, healthy for healthy quick swaps of healthy alternative for professionals if you choose to change your sort of preference. That's something that is available on the app. If you want to change the preferences, you can change it under the preferences section. That okay, I want to know more about the quick swaps. For example, if I'm eating let's say something unhealthy, then can I swap it with healthy item? That is something at user driven choice, not app driven choice we are giving. And there is something called as family mode, which is coming soon to help parents to track their kids' nutrition, because this is
Okay.
also something very untapped. Like I'm a parent right now. It's been 1.5 years, and the question that comes in whenever we want to make something new for our kid is, ये healthy हो सकता है कि नहीं? What will it make? ये खाना खाएगा तो वो बच्चे के ऊपर क्या impact होगा? For example, we started giving eggs to our son, and we see now his energy levels are very massive. He spends a lot of time running around and stuff like that. So can we give steamed broccoli or paratha खिला सकते हैं क्या उसको? But then those choices, because the parents are so aware, they want to know what exactly they are putting in their child's body, which is
True.
something that we will sort of I mean, we're calling it family mode, but we'll call something else. So to track the parents, to track the kids and their parents, to make it easier to understand. So all of these features are designed, to be everyday companion and not an additional task. Because जब भी कोई भी फूड ट्रैक करने जाता है, then that becomes an additional task. It feels like an additional task. And that is what they're trying to eliminate, because the user stickiness will only be there once user feels that this is not a task that I'm doing. This is my day-to-day routine. Like getting up, having one cup of chai or coffee is how your daily routine. Like how you using UPI is your daily routine. That's how we want to sort of, envision ourselves.
That's amazing, Avnish, sir. But now that you like earlier you mentioned that it's also available in multi languages for other users as well.
Yeah,
So as far as I can understand, Nutria supports 12 Indian languages and
correct.
voice plus visual inputs also. So how important was accessibility in your product roadmap?
So accessibility wasn't a feature; it was a non-negotiable for us. It's not something that we say that accessibility as a feature we want to add. It is something that we decided that it's not going to be negotiable, right? Nutrition literacy in India varies drastically, right? If we only speak English, we would lose about 90% of the country. English speaking audience is very less as compared to other regional languages. So supporting 12 languages ensures us that tier 2 and tier 3 families can use it. Then older parents can lock food with voice. That feature is yet to launch, but we're working on it, and by the end of December it will be live. And people who can't type that fast because it's a manual logging, most of the apps that they do, they can still track just by clicking a picture, and everyone feels that the app belongs to them, not it's not really a Western app. It should feel like an Indian app, and that is where we sort of decided that these four things are going to be non-negotiable for us. And our vision is very clear. Nutrition revolution can't be English only. It has to be truly Indian, and India speaks more than 300 languages, right? And supporting 12 languages is just start. We have the vision to sort of, if we can get there, then of course, we want to support in all possible languages.
Amazing. And like going through the diversity of India, what role do you think Ayurvedic practitioners and as well as certified nutritionists play in Nutria's hybrid model of AI and human expertise?
Okay, very interesting. So AI is a very small baby right now, right? If I have to talk to you in baby languages, AI is still learning. It's evolving very very fast. It's able to read hundreds of books at and in less than 5 minutes. But then AI can only give you the speed, scale, and accuracy, right? Because it's still at a very developing stage, very fast and very and people now their smartphones have become so powerful. By the mid of 1995, if you would have tell me that 2025 तक आपके फोन आपका कंप्यूटर आपके जेब में आ जाएगा, no one would have believed it, right? But now that is possible, right? And what we wanted to create in terms of the hybrid model that you spoke of is basically AI handles the detection part. For example, आपकी थाली में कितने items हैं, आप उसका grammage क्या होगा, and accurately guessing and also telling you that this is the food that you're eating, right? But then macros, daily nudges are driven by AI, right? But the nutritionist personalizes the plan and monitors the progress. We are not trying to eliminate nutritionist out of the picture. Nutritionist is always going to be that key important person in someone's health journey to understand and achieve the personal goal that you want to achieve, right? But nutritionists are not really accessible for everyone. Like for in Mumbai, for example, if I have to give you, any good nutritionist will charge you about 1,500 rupees to 2,000 rupees for one consultation. Now that is really expensive, right? And then you have to do other the changes that follows, and the emotional turmoil that you will go through is something that will put you like on a back seat for a budgeting purposes. But then this is the problem that we want to solve: educating the Indian consumer and telling them what they are eating is the first step. The second step is, what will you do with that data when you have that enough data? Let's say you're logging meal for 1 month. You can actually, if you decide you're really serious about your nutrition game, then you will consult with someone, maybe your gym trainer, maybe your nutritionist, maybe your dietitian, and they will have some groundwork that has been laid off by Nutria. That data is not going to be sitting there, because you will share that data with them and say, okay, this is what I have been eating, so then they can make the changes in your diet, right? So now those changes are always going to be human driven. It's not going to be AI driven. We are just trying to lay the foundation, and this creates a powerful loop. Technology solves the efficiency, humans solve the motivation. Together they solve the outcome.
Hmm. Amazing. Now, taking a step back and understand the foundation of Nutria, and as an experienced strategist and formal consulting CMO at Smash, how did your marketing and leadership background influence the creation and launch of Nutria?
Okay.
Mhm,
So my entire career has been about, understanding the consumer behavior, building brands, fulfilling someone else's dream, then build that emotionally, can connect with the audience, then scaling high performance teams and solving real problems with creative thinking. So these are the 4 5 things that I've been doing for the entire career of last 14 15 years. And
mhm,
Nutria is sort of a culmination of all that, right? At Smash, we scaled across major cities and built experiences for millions of people. And entertainment was one of the biggest gamble that we took back in the day. And now entertainment is accessible and also becoming a part of daily life. Imagine spending 1,000 rupee at a game zone. If I say this to you in, let's say, 2002, you would not
mhm,
believe it, and you would not do it. No one would do it. But then bringing all everything together under one roof so that you and your family can spend time together is something that we envisioned, and we embarked on that journey, and we achieved quite a lot through that. But in all this career journey, it taught me to how to operationalize at scale, right? And right now also, I'm still learning. I learned how to structure team, craft narratives and build systems that deliver consistently. So we did that while building Nutria, and this is a learning experience for me also, right?
mhm.
So I would not say that I know it all. I can say that I'm still learning, and I'm learning a lot from my teammates. I'm learning a lot from people like you, who have sort of are speaking to a lot of people to understand how the human mentality, the human psychology works. My research now is going towards that, because I want to understand the emotional aspect and emotional baggage that we carry when we are on a health journey, right? So I
Mhm.
myself understood that, and while all this was going on, I also decided to, on purpose, to gain weight and lose it again, to gain weight again and lose it again, meaning I intentionally eat a lot of food. I
Mhm.
reached a level of about 98 kgs, and then I started reverse engineering everything. I
Okay.
started losing weight again. So I wanted to understand कि किसी को अगर weight loss करना है, which is 80-85% of everyone who want to lose belly fat, who want to look good and stuff like that, right? What are the challenges that they face? And those challenges are endless challenges: family support, lack of nutrition, then tracking problem, don't get good trainer, don't have time, the biggest concern, right? Motivation factor: I don't want to get up at 5:30 in the morning and go to the gym, or I can't finish that run, and other tens of thousands of problems, right? So while building all this, I was doing this also. And this is the third time I'm doing the weight gain and loss and gain and loss again. This is the third time I'm doing it. So, you know, I understood the problems from the core, the problems that I missed from the first cycle. Got to know in the second cycle. And as in when you age, like I started doing this when I was, I think, first time when the COVID hit. That time I started, focusing on health because I had a lot of time. Everyone had good amount of time. Everyone started, becoming healthy. So
Yeah.
after that, I realized that there are multiple problems, but
Mhm.
nutrition tracking is something that we can solve today with today's technology. Motivation is something that one need to resolve within themselves. I can't give a motivational speak and say, "कल से आप सुबह 5:30 बजे उठोगे." इतना मतलब you will do it once or twice or thrice, but you will on the day five you may give up, right? So even if you have some spark, some motivation, then you will keep doing it consistently. So all of this experience, all of this learning, I wanted to put it in Nutria and product, and build a product with a strategic clarity, and consumer empathy and a strong storytelling, which we are sort of trying to do right now with our social media also. So this
Yeah.
is what the encapsulates the answer for your question.
And that, like a quick fun question that you mentioned, you like you went on to gain weight and then lose it. What do you think is more tough or difficult, gaining weight or losing it?
Losing is very difficult. Gaining is not as difficult as it sounds because you get to eat everything that you want to your heart's content. And so third time I did it for my own personal reasons. I wanted to
Okay.
eat everything that I wanted,
Hmm.
but then now I am back on track. In fact, I'm running a marathon on this 23rd, and I used to run like hell. I love running on beaches, but then now it's time that I'm also getting little old. I'm 36 now, and I know from 40 list of problems will start. So I wanted to focus on my health, and I will continue focusing on my health.
Understandable. And in the last answer, you mentioned you have worked with a lot of people and a lot of colleagues, and that you, since you have managed such large teams and scaled brands before as well, what were your biggest leadership lessons you carried into building this tech health startup?
So I think if I have to narrow it down, then there will be a couple of lessons that I will pass it on, or I give it to my team members. Is also like and these are you have to build a culture of ownership. Now that does not mean you have to spend off time in the office till 10 o'clock in the night. I never call my teammates after let's say certain period of time unless it's really pressing or really important. So in a structure of ownership, uh, in a startup, they say that no one can say this isn't my job. Everyone solves problem by coming together and contributing together. And I believe on this statement particularly firmly because uh, social media tech is something that you cannot solve together as a team if you're not having a tech background. But then other problems we can. For example, we wanted to sort of build when we started doing social media. We wanted to build it so ground rooted that our content consumption also happens, and also we relay the subject that okay, this is what we want to talk about, and this has come from the team. The ideas that they and whenever we sit for brainstorming, sometimes some ideas doesn't make sense, but then time and again they have proven that those ideas will work, and I blindly trust them whenever they come up with a new idea or a new trend that we want to participate in. And second thing which I feel is very important is speed is far more greater than perfection. When you are in a startup, you just need to ship things very fast and get it done, improve on weekly basis, but don't wait for that slow, perfect launch.
Yeah.
And we did this like multiple times. I have a lot of examples to give you, but then sheer amount of time. That's why we'll keep it short. And third important aspect that we formed rather learn is mission-led teams outperform task-led teams. So if my mission is important, my own mission is, my health, my priority, then that will push me beyond my limits rather than just a task led कि आपने एक कोई task sheet खोला उसमें आपने अपने task लिख दिए and you're just checking, marking and getting your task done. So when everyone knows why they are doing this, the biggest responsibilities comes on the shoulder of every one of us that we're trying to solve India's nutrition crisis. Motivation becomes intrinsic.
That's amazing. And now it brings me to my last question, which is looking ahead 3 or 5 years in the future, what is your long term vision for Nutria specifically? And do you see it becoming part of healthcare systems, corporate wellness, or even household routine across India?
So since I'll answer this question in two parts. India, our population is huge, right? We are one of the largest country in the world, right? And trust can be only built through certain parameters. Since you mentioned about trust, relatability, transparency, consistency, and impact, right? And we build trust by showing users real macros, what exactly is going inside their bodies, not generic averages. It will never give you a range of percentage saying that, this food may contain 45 to 55% of your daily protein intake. That we're not doing that. We're giving you exact, accurate 90-95% accurate data, which is as close to real, right? Then also by making AI explain why a food is a good or bad. All foods are good. All foods are, if you consume in a very limited way. अगर आप आधा किलो खजूर खा लेते हो तो आपके लिए अच्छा नहीं है. लेकिन if you
True.
eat 3 dates in a day, then it's fine, right? So
Yeah.
moderation is the key,
Yeah.
and giving personalized swaps, not generic advice. We are not, and that too user-driven journey. If you want to change your meal type, if you see that you're doing a growth, and you want to take it to the next level, then you can enable from your end. Like I mentioned earlier, user-driven swaps, not app-driven. This is something that we are giving. Then we're not shaming people for cultural food. No one is going to judge on Nutria. Not a single parameter will come and say that you're eating too much of rice in a day. It's never going to happen, right? And also involving experts, nutritionists, dietitians, to give, to correct our metric. Whatever we decide, whatever we calculate, that metric is verified by nutritionists. That metric is verified by dietitians who are empaneled with us, right? And we're trying to build essentially is we're trying to build an Indian brand for Indian narratives, right? There is not a single brand that is there out there, or a nutrition tracker, or a with one motive and one purpose. There are companies out there who sell ancillary services, and nutrition tracking is a secondary service, not a primary service. And there is a lot of market also in there, but then still they decide that okay, that's their business decision. They went ahead with that, and completely respect, out of respect I'm saying this, that someone needs to solve this, and we are trying to solve this. And over time, trust comes from results, not with how many app downloads I have or how many active users I have. So ये
True.
DAO MAO का जो principle है, that is of course important. I'm not denying that fact, but then the trust comes from user stickiness. Even if I have, let's say, 5,000 users, and they're spending a lot of amount of their time on the app tracking their meals, which as of today we stand at about 7.5 and 8 minutes a day, which is a golden number to achieve, right? Then we have won the race, and that is what we are trying to build. So if you can help someone to lose 5 to 10 kgs without changing their cultural identity, and they trust you for life because you have helped us, as a company have helped them to lose that 5 extra kilos or 10 extra kilos, then I have you in my top user list. You will never go back to another app. You will always keep using my app, Nutriiya app, because we've helped you to lose that weight, that additional, burden that you carry every day. So that is how you build trust, and that is how we want to sort of grow.
That is amazing, Avnish sir. And that also brings us to the end of this insightful conversation with you. Your work with Nutria is obviously not just redefining nutrition, it's making healthy living truly accessible and culturally relevant for millions of Indians. Avnish sir, thank you so much for sharing your journey, your vision, and the
Absolutely.
future you are
Absolutely.
building. And to
Absolutely.
everyone listening, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, share, and follow the podcast. See you in the next one. Thank you, everyone.